Okay, so Deku finally knows that Mirio was the original successor. How does that make him feel? Like, honestly, when I saw that page and he just stopped, I can just imagine him, like, you get that feeling when your stomach kind of, like, scrunches up, like when your heart skips a beat, because it puts things into perspective now. Deku finally is realizing now that there were other people that could have been in his place. So not only does he feel right now that he has to be even more worth of being picked, but now he realizes how so many other people, well, not so many other people, but another person was overlooked because of what he has, and this person's even better than him. So, oh boy, is Deku gonna be, like, overthinking like crazy right now. We did see it in this chapter as well. So, hey guys, how's it going on? I'm here to do a review on Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 127, and really, from this chapter, Deku has to show his worth. This is literally what's happening right now. This is kind of like the mini arc between Deku and Sir Nighteye. I said in my previous review how I do think we're going to get some overhaul and Shigaraki kind of thing, because obviously Night-Eye's right in the middle of that because he's investigating overhaul. So I do think Deku's going to get thrown into the mix about that after these chapters when Deku does show his worth to Sir Nighteye. So it's really ramping up for some greatness right now. But this chapter and this little scuffle, which you could say between Sir Nighteye and Deku just needs to show that he is worthy of being All Might's successor, and it really makes me think: is that the reason why Nighteye and All Might broke up? Is that the reason why their partnership is no longer? Because obviously Sir Nighteye didn't agree with All Might not choosing Mirio as a successor. Maybe so, because we don't really know the timeline of when this happened. All we know is, pretty much from the start of the series, All Might comes into town because he's looking for a successor, and he bumps into Deku, and then he's like, okay, it's you. That's pretty much what we kind of know about the timeline. We don't know anything pretty much before that. We don't know when Sir Nighteye was All Might's sidekick. We don't know for how long, so I'd like to get some coverage on that hopefully in the next couple of chapters. But aside from that, when we see that last spread page, man, am I the only one who got Gran Torino vibes? Like, honestly, I love it, because not only is it Gran Torino's a G, but it shows you that Deku actually just adapts and he takes things from what people learn, and it gives you so much hope for when when Deku does come under Sir Nightaye's wing. When he leaves Sir Nighteye, he's going to pick up so many new tricks from Sir Nighteye, because he's using Gran Torino's, like, maneuverability and all of that kind of stuff. He increased his speed. That was so lit. I love that so much. Honestly, that was amazing. So I cannot wait to see what happens at the end of it. Bear in mind, Sir Nighteye's not even flinching right now. Sir Nighteye's still standing up. He's still standing, and he's still chilling. He's just like, what are you gonna do about it, pretty much. So I cannot wait. But in this chapter we found out Sir Nighteye's quirk, and it's called Foresight. Now, it's a tricky quirk. It's a freaking broken quirk as well. Imagine if imagine if One For All. This is the thing. And it does draw back to the timeline as well. So we find out in this chapter a big thing, and Sir Nighteye Sir Nighteye is aware of All Might and the whole truth about One For All. So he's obviously aware about All For One, surely. So this links back to the whole timeline of how long was he All Might psychic for, because this kind of broken ass quirk, surely One For All would have wanted it. One For All? No, surely All For One. Surely All For One would have wanted this quirk, but I don't know, maybe so. Maybe some All For One doesn't even know about Sir Nighteye, but I highly doubt that. Either way, I want to see some greatness in Sir Nighteye. Imagine how awesome it is. Guys, we know All For One is going to break out whenever. So we do know that another confrontation between All Might and All For One is going to happen. May not be physical, but if it does happen, I'd love to see Sir Nighteye coming in like a boss, you know, defending his master and all that greatness, because that would be so amazing. And it brings into, okay, this is what it just came into my mind right now. Okay, so if Sir Nighteye was All Might's sidekick, wasn't Sir Nighteye in All Might's, like, viewpoint in All Might's, you know, in his mind of maybe he should be the worthy successor? I'm just wondering, maybe, for obviously plot, Deku, Mirio, all of that kind of stuff. So who knows? But Yeah, so Sir Nightheye's quirk is foresight, and this is what it said from the chapter. It said, by touching any part of his target and matching his gaze with theirs, he's able to see the actions that person will take in advance for the period of 1 hour. So, yeah, foresight, pretty much self-explanatory, is extremely broken. This is where I'm a little bit confused. Is this whole period of 1 hour, basically, right now, Sir Nighteye can see what Deku's going to do for the next hour. But is that relaying in his mind? So, because we see at the start of the chapter when he's like messing around with Deku's face, saying, you know, the wrinkle should be 0.6 centimeters, all of that kind of stuff. So, obviously he's gazing into Deku's eyes right then and there. So, when he's gazing in, whilst he's looking in, is it in that moment he looks into Deku's eyes, he sees everything that Deku will do for the next hour? I think it's probably something like that. But he has to touch the target and match their gaze. So not only does this mean you need to be still with the guy for at least a second or so. So you need to get close to them. Imagine this is a villain. How are you gonna do this? You need to immobilize your villain for a couple of seconds. Like, it doesn't seem as the best quirk. It really doesn't. But it makes so much sense to why Mirio has flourished and nourished under Sir Nighteye's wing, and it makes so much sense because, you know, Mirio was all talking about this prediction, making the best about your quirk, and it's so similar to Sir Nighteye because think about it, Nighteye's quirk is amazing, it's broken, but if he only just had his quirk and he probably didn't buff up his physical combat, his intelligence, his strategic nature, all of that, if he didn't use all of that or buff that up, or if he didn't, you know, focus on those things as well, he wouldn't be that formidable as a hero, that formidable as an opponent, because he can't just rely on his quirk, because his quirk will not help him in everything. And besides, even if you see what someone's going to do for an hour, even if you see their future, their movements, doesn't mean that you can totally just negate it. Doesn't mean that you can totally dodge it, because think about it, let's say he was sparring All Might. He knew what All Might was going to do for an hour. All Might is fast, All Might is strong. Even so, All Might's power could surpass Sir Nighteye's foresight. So regardless of Sir Nighteye knowing what All Might's going to do, All Might can still take him out. Do you get what I mean? So that's kind of, it shows you how Mirio has grown so much. Because bear in mind, Mirio's quirk has got immense drawbacks, but he's made the most out of it. He's strengthened himself to such a degree where even though he's got so many drawbacks, it doesn't really matter because he's still a strong person. And it kind of shows you maybe Sir Nighteye has the same thing. You can't do a massive amount with Sir Nighteye's quirk, but if you know make the best out of it, you can be a very strong hero. So I really did like that. Now, obviously, at the end of the chapter, it seems like Deku increased his speed. It seems that's the kind of thought process that he was having. He was thinking, okay, if I increase my speed, if I go so fast, even if he does see what I'm going to do, he won't be able to react to it. So maybe it seems like that's what Deku is planning to do from the end of this chapter. So I'm pretty hyped. I'm not going to lie, because I can't wait to see it. Obviously, it gave me those Gran Torino vibes, and it seems like Deku's, you know, aggressive side's coming out, because remember when he was fighting Bakugo, and I realised that when Deku's caught up in the heat of the moment, he gets so much mouthy, he gets an attitude on him, and in this chapter he's just like, I'll be taking that stamp now. So yeah, this is awesome. Bear in mind this fight's only going to be for like 3 minutes, so it's going to be lit. I think, well, to be honest, Sir Nighteye will destroy Deku. Like, it's not gonna be like Deku speeds up, throws Sir Nighteye into the ground, takes the stamp from him. It's not gonna happen anything like that. But I do think maybe Deku will get probably extremely close to him. Remember when Deku was sparring Gran Torino? All he managed to do was nick him. So we'll have to see what Deku can do against Sir Nighteye. I'm gonna think that Sir Nighteye is just gonna demolish Deku, and then Sir Nighteye will be like, okay, you've got promise. And he gives him the stamp. It may be something like that. Either way, guys, tell me your thoughts in the comments below about that. Now, just before I end this review, as I said, Deku needs to show his worth to Sir Nighteye, because Sir Nighteye was just like, simply put it, you're mediocre. You don't have what it takes. Mirio would have been a better successor. Now, thinking about this, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you really think it would have been the best decision for Mirio to be the successor for One For All? Because think about it. If you have, Mirio, if he had One For All, it would have been so hard like, so hard for him to get to grips with that, imagine, because first of all, his quirk, as it is, has enough drawbacks. Then if he had one for all, so like, he wouldn't be able to see and stuff, so then he's got the whole factoring of, you know, the output level and the wattage and that, and, you know, breaking the bones, all of that kind of stuff. Just imagine, it would be so hard for Mirio to kind of, like, get all of that and master it. But I don't know, that was just a little thought that came into my mind. But this is what I do think the most monumental thing that happened from this chapter was definitely the realization that Deku has realized that he wasn't the only one on All Might's mind for him giving his quirk to. So it shows you that throughout this whole series, Deku's always been like, I need to prove myself because, you know, this ain't my quirk. But it puts more things into reality, so it kind of makes you seem like maybe he shouldn't be. Not that he is taking his quirk for granted, but he definitely has a lot to learn. And I would like a confrontation between Deku and All Might. You know, Deku coming to terms with All Might, saying, "Why did you choose me? Why didn't you choose Mirio? Or what even like your sidekick Nighteye?" Like, I'd love to have that conversation. I think that would be very important for their relationship as master and student, especially because Deku knows now. So guys, please tell me your thoughts in the comments below what you thought about this chapter. If you liked anything I'd say, please drop a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe for weekly reviews of Boku no Hero Academia if you already haven't, and let's continue the discussion down below. What are your thoughts? Do you think Mirio would have been the best successor? What are your thoughts about Sir Nighteye's quirk? Do you think it's broken, or do you think it's got some, like, maybe a massive drawback? Peace out, guys, and goodbye.